honestly, I don't think it's been as bad as it seems. Especially, early in the game yesterday, we put some really good swings on balls. They just happened to be right at each other. Right at the defenders. The biggest thing is we're not pressing. You gotta take into consideration we've won 17 over the last 18 games, and the last 2 games we haven't swung it as well. But if you want to go back and look at the regionals, there were games and super regionals where we didn't swing it well at times. But we're not pressing at all. It's it's just one game, and our backs are against the wall now. So we just gotta lay it all out on the line now.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Tigers Roar. I'm Tommy Krycent of Pelican Broadcasting. Our pleasure to be joined tonight by Larry Matson, longtime sportscaster. I'm not going to say how many years. We'll stay away from that one, but mostly known for his coverage of the New Orleans Saints, but he's announced hundreds of games, hundreds of events. He's anchored desks. He's done a little bit of everything. Larry, good evening. How are you this evening?
Doing well, and looking forward to the Tigers. Hopefully they can pull this one out.
Yeah, and of course LSU's kind of tangling with Florida State now in TV production world. Sometimes there are conflicts. Sometimes you can't dodge them, and that's just the way it goes. We do know that as we speak to you, LSU is up heading to the bottom of the 6th inning, but they are the visiting team. So we got a lot. We're going to recap Game 1 of the World Series, Game 2. We've got a lot of stuff from some players and Coach Mainieri. And again, we realize we're in a little trick bag here, but it is what it is. We've also got some stuff on the New Orleans Saints and some different things with Drew Brees and the U.S. Open recap. Brooks Koepka, American, wins the U.S. Open. Larry, you worked for the Saints for so long, and you and I were chatting before the cameras got rolling. Adrian Peterson, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame when the time is for that. He comes to the New Orleans Saints. My thoughts on the acquisition are this. We all know what he's accomplished, and he's a Hall of Famer if he never takes another snap in the NFL. But I think what's important to the Saints fans and the Saints, what will he accomplish this fall?
I look back to when we had Earl Campbell. Same situation. Earl Campbell was one of the best at his craft at his time, but he didn't do much with the Saints, and he was pretty much done. And
he was on the back end of the career.
Back end of the career, and Bum Phillips thought maybe we could rejuvenate that career and get him going, and it just didn't happen. I'm hoping this time, this will happen, that he'll be motivated to show the world and, of course, his former team that he still has it. And I think that if he stays healthy, he provides a pretty interesting combination with Mark Ingram. I think that's going to be an interesting duo to have in the backfield.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, too. You've been in the Saints locker room more than anybody I know. When you bring a Hall of Famer into the locker room, okay, and obviously I mean the practice field, the meeting rooms and all that, that gets guys' attention.
Oh, no doubt.
Not much awes a NFL player or a major leaguer or whatever, except when they're in the presence of a Hall of Famer, and that gets their attention a little bit. So the mere fact that you bring a guy in with those credentials certainly helps the mindset in the locker room, like, as you referenced, when they brought in Earl Campbell. Yeah, Earl was on the tail end of it, and he wasn't very productive for the Saints. But you got a guy like that. Sometimes he makes the people around him a little better.
Well, it's respect. You respect what he has accomplished, what he has done, and you say, boy, I'd like to be able to do that myself. That type of thing. Play that many years, have that much productivity, and you're hoping that, what he wants to prove, I think, more than anything is that he can catch the football. And that's been the biggest criticism of his career, maybe, was he wasn't really good third down out of the backfield catching the football. I think with Drew Brees, that combination may end up being a big surprise in the league.
And I think another plus is, if you're Mark Ingram or you're Alvin Kamara, the rookie out of Tennessee.
Another good one.
or anybody on the roster, you're saying, hey, I can now learn from Adrian Peterson. Yeah. He's proven. He's been there, done that. So, you're always going to try to make yourself better and having a guy like that. But as you said, it's going to be what will he do come September. And ironically, they open the season in Minnesota, his former team, on Monday Night Football. Now, from an LSU football standpoint, they got a big camp this weekend, the Elite Prospect Camp, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, going on the Tiger practice facility. I'm thinking if the weather's a little wacky, they'll go indoors. They'll figure out a way to still get it done with the facilities that they have. But that's a big camp. It's kind of the last one, if you will, because June and July, a lot of coaches, a lot of people like to go on vacation and all that. And I think the LSU coaches are going to take a small bit of time off after this camp. But in fact, coming up right in about an hour from now, we're going to have Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com to give you the very latest on all of the recruiting information up to date, plus tell you about what they're expecting to get out of this big camp. So, Larry, as you know, LSU football, it's constantly recruiting, identifying players even for 2-3 years down the road, create a file on them, and keep tabs on them.
That's what's amazing to me, how they've been able to do that over the years, and now with the coaching change, you want to see how that continues. The bar was raised pretty high, but they've been able to replace players. Look what when you had Leonard Fournette, and he was the end-all back, and all of a sudden he's not playing, and a guy named Geis comes along, and that shows you what kind of recruiting has done. You've got to have people in the wings ready to step up, be the next man up.
I asked you this question a few months ago, Larry. You've been around college and pro football forever, as well as high school football, but Ed Orgeron, he's pushing some correct buttons, and he's known as a recruiter. The recruiting rules are different for head coaches than it are for assistant coaches, but right now, Ed Orgeron, you got to let him go do what he thinks he's got to do to make the program, compete for a championship. What are your thoughts on Ed?
Well, I like him, and I like Jerry DiNardo too. So maybe, I don't know. Jerry DiNardo was one of the nicest coaches I think I've ever been around, and I like Ed. And I've never really had an interview with Ed, so I can't really say that I know him. But from what I've seen of his persona, what I've seen on how he's handled it, and he handled that situation last year with a great deal of class. And he took a step forward and said, "Okay, I'm the head coach now. This is what we're going to do," and they did. And he did that in Southern Cal and got kind of like ousted out there, and I think that was unfair. This has been giving him a fair chance to do what I think he can do, and I'm really pulling for him to do well.
Well, I've said this before. I'll say it again since we're talking about Ed Orgeron. I don't know if he's going to be successful. I don't know if he's going to win a championship, but I know he's going to work his butt off to get to that. Okay, he's not going to leave a stone unturned. He is going to go 24/7 to try to make this football team win a championship. And I think if we're sitting here 3-4 years from now and it didn't go well, it won't be because he didn't work his tail off to try to make it go well. So I'll go with that for it. And everybody's chomping on the bit all summer long for football, and FCC Media Days will be here not too much further down the road, and then before you know it, they'll be practicing. Before you know it, and I got to tell you this, before you know it, they open the season against BYU over in Houston. And until I was reading on the internet about 3-4 weeks ago, BYU's expected to be very good. When they first said, okay, BYU, okay, LSU should get a win there. But BYU's got a higher projected win total on the over-under bets out in Vegas than LSU does. Now, they don't play the same schedule. They're not in the SEC. I get that. But they're expected to be very, very good. And, it's going to be a tough opener for LSU, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think a good word for them is explosive. They got the potential to explode, and that's what you've got to try to curtail and see if you can get. They always say you want to get off to a fast start. What you don't want to do is have the opponent get off to a fast start, and that's the kind of team they could be.
Well, another thing on the LSU campus, basketball. Will Wade is, I haven't met him yet. I have not met Will Wade yet. I hope to do that sometime, in August, maybe get by the office and say hello and introduce myself. But the people I know who have met him, the people I know who are very connected to the basketball program, each and every week they're more and more impressed with Will Wade and the things he's doing. He's getting some transfers who won't be eligible for a year, but he knows he's got to go get players, and he's doing it. So I think the early call on Will Wade is an energetic guy who's working his butt off to make LSU basketball better. I don't think it's a matter of waving a magic wand and they're going to be, they're going to set records next year. But I think people will see the improvement based on what we know in the early call of Will Wade.
What we want to see from him is consistency. That was something that was lacking last year. And enthusiasm. Golly, the team looked like it was half asleep a lot of the time. And I'm a Johnny Jones fan. Let me tell you, I was pulling for that team to really shake it up and do something. It just didn't happen.
No, it sure didn't. And, and when you get a new coach, you got to change whatever was. And we'll go forward with that. So lots of stuff here on this week's edition of Tigers Roar. Don't forget, it's up on YouTube mid-morning on Thursdays, where you can watch it at your convenience in case you miss it. The original airing each week's on a Wednesday evening, but there are replays on Pelican Sports TV and the ETEL cable system, and as I mentioned, YouTube.com. So we've got a lot of LSU baseball for you tonight. We've got some New Orleans Saints, some Drew Brees stuff, U.S. Open recap. We'll get into some of that, one of the 4 golfing majors. And as I mentioned, coming up a little bit later, Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com, as Mike will update you on the LSU football recruiting and talk about the big elite camp taking place at LSU this weekend. Let's hope the weather's kind to them. We're going to take our first break of the evening with Larry Matson. I'm Tommy Krysan. You are watching Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, all over the world on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. We'll be right back. Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net. Continue with Tigers Roar. Larry Matson pinch hitting for Jordy Hultberg tonight. Appreciate you checking it out on Pelican Sports TV or the ETEL cable system, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Before we go dive into some LSU baseball, I want to let you know about Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Mike and the staff do a super job over there on Jefferson Highway, right down from Parkview Baptist. You got 4th of July plans coming up already. All your meat, all your seafood, Tremontis.com, the website, or call them at 751-7665. They've got daily lunch specials. They got a great selection of wines and high-end spirits. They can cater. They can do it all. The Chairman's Reserve beef is through the roof. You definitely want that. Tremontis.com. Mike and the staff happy to help you. Summertime hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Again, the lunch specials, the meat cases, the prepared meals. Got a little bit of everything over there at Tremontis.com. We want you to check it out. Larry, it's always special to go to Omaha. You know, only 8 teams a year get to go. It's always been in Omaha, and I think with that new stadium, it's going to be there a while. Big contract there. But LSU, you know, that's kind of an expectation year in and year out. And they don't go every year, although this is the 18th trip in school history. So it is so special to get to Omaha. But when you're in LSU's boat, getting there is not
No.
the end all.
That's right.
Go there and win it is the end all. Whereas there have been this year, everybody's there has been there. But there's been years like Coastal Carolina or Stony Brook and people that, it was the first time to go there. That felt like a big accomplishment. Well, going there is not it for LSU. Going there and winning it is what the Tiger team and fans want.
You mentioned 18 times. Mike Martin, the head coach at Florida State, has been there 16 times, has never won a championship. And I don't know, many people know Mike, but he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. I played against him in college. He was a center fielder at Florida State. Signed a pro contract with the New York Mets. His first roommate was Nolan Ryan in Class A. And he is just one of those kind of a class individuals. He's won 1,900 games as a college coach. He's 33, I think, wins away from becoming the all-time winningest coach in college baseball. If Auburn can't win the national championship, I pull for LSU. If LSU can't win it, I pull for Florida State. And unfortunately, they got to play each other today in the elimination game, and so I'm pulling for LSU now. But still, if Mike could ever win one, it would be great. That just shows you how tough it is. He's been there 16 times and has yet to come away with a trophy.
Well, and 40 straight years where Florida State has won at least 40 baseball games.
Yeah.
40 games, kind of a watermark for teams, and of course LSU's going for their 50th win in the season. That's another watermark on Wednesday night against Florida State.
We didn't play 50 games in 2 years at Auburn.
but here's the other thing. I mean, Mike Martin has been there as a player. He's there as a coach. I mean, Florida State guys you mentioned played center field, and it's quite the story. But the knock, kind of like they knocked Mark Richt at Georgia for not winning the national championship, although he had tremendous success with Bulldog football. Mike Martin, that's that little elephant in the room, that
Just
little
can't
thing
get
that
there,
hangs in there. He's got a couple of College World Series runner-ups. He's got 2 of those, but he's never won the whole thing. So, but it's special to get there.
Let me tell you something that I noticed, and I don't know if anybody else even picked up on it, what Paul Mainieri did in the game where they got blown out by Oregon State. At the end of the game, or near the end of the game, I think he realized this one's over. Let's put it in the rearview mirror, and let's look ahead. And what I want to do is play as many players as I can to get the experience and get them an opportunity to be in a College World Series game. He made pinch hit moves at the end there. He brought in a lot of different pitchers. And now, as he looks back on this, next year, he's going to be able to see players who had that experience of being up there at the plate one time or being on the hill throwing a few pitches in a College World Series game. That's something that'll be a memory of theirs for the rest of their lives, but also will carry over to next year. He's going to have pretty much a pretty interesting team next year. It's unfortunately that Blaine Enlow of Santa Ma was a first pick in the 3rd round. He'll sign a contract and get a couple of $1 million. He won't be coming to LSU, but boy, what a young staff and what a young super staff of players he's going to have next year.
Enlow actually cut a deal on the golf course.
Yeah,
he
that's
cut
right.
a deal on the golf course on the phone with his buddies playing golf. That's how that deal was agreed to, and then of course paperwork came later. But that's kind of cool, huh? You're out playing golf and you cut a deal with the Minnesota Twins. That's not too bad. Now you mentioned Martin with the almost 1,900 wins. Yeah. Just to put that in perspective, Paul Mainieri's got a little over 1,400 wins.
That's right.
Skip Bertman's got 870 wins, I want to say. Yeah. Martin's approaching 2,000. So, when you start digesting those numbers, you go, whoa.
Yeah, that'll be an all-time record, I think, if he gets the record. Now, I got to tell you this really quick personal story, if you don't mind.
No, we love stories here. You always got good ones.
Watching those guys go up to bat and pinch hitting, I told my son, I said, you're not going to believe this, but when I went to the College World Series one year, and I've been there several times, and not as a player, but as a reporter, Auburn was playing there one year, and they put in a guy to pinch hit. He wore number 7. He struck out. After the game, I found number 7 and told him how proud I was of him. He said, why is that? I said, I wore number 7 when I played, and it was exciting to see my number at the plate in the World Series. Now, they had a guy this year that got drafted, and he wore number 7. So it's a number that some good players have worn. And I wasn't one of them, but it made me feel good to see my number up there in the World Series. So that's why I say these guys will remember that moment the rest of their lives that they got to play an inning or whatever.
Speaking of LSU and Florida State, we've got a recap of Game 1. A heck of a game, couple of errors by Florida State, got a little sloppy, but right now we're going to recap the opening game of the College World Series when LSU beat Florida State 5-4. Enjoy.
Zach Hess winds and delivers. The pitch, cold strike 3, buckled the batter, and that'll do it. Tigers win 5-4 over Florida State in a come-from-behind victory here on Saturday night in Omaha.
I can't tell you what a relief it is to just win the first ball game. I think our team will play much better on Monday night now that they've got one under their belt. They're used to the surroundings. They're not going to be uptight at all. They're going to go out there and let it rip on Monday night, and I think you'll see a team play a lot better.
It's kind of what this pitching status built on. We're going to pick our guy up no matter what, and I was going to, do whatever I can to not let that guy score, and then, from then on, just to keep putting up zeros because I knew that our offense was going to eventually start clicking, and then next thing we put up a couple runs, and we win it late, and I just wanted to just keep us and give us a chance.
At the end of the day, we took advantage of a couple of misplays by them, and it was a little bit of a bizarre game. I thought that our team didn't really play that great, at least not up to our potential, and yet somehow we still found a way to win, which is really encouraging for us.
You're going to come up in big situations, and one-run games is how you're going to define your season. So, I had to wipe those first 3 at-bats clean and focus on getting the job done. Personally, I'd like to hit a sac fly and make it a little bit easier, but, that works too.
I thought right off the bat when I hit it to right field, I thought Cole could have gone first or third right from the get-go, but I guess he decided he couldn't have made it. So luckily he bobbled the ball and just made it to third. That was kind of a weird play. I just kept looking up. Things kept happening. I just kept running. So, I don't really know.
It's unbelievable. Just with all of the great pitches that's come through out of the chute, for me to, I guess tie that record and put my name at the top of the list, it's something that's hard to describe. Definitely didn't think it was going to happen with me coming out of the bullpen, but I think it made it a little more exciting.
Can you believe here he is now, is tied for the winningest pitcher in the history of LSU baseball? And here's the scoop. We've had some pretty good pitchers go through this program through the years. I'm just so proud of Jared and everything that he's done for this program, and I love him to death.
Actually, I didn't even look at Nolan going to second just because the right fielder has a really good arm. I had a lot of respect for that, and Twanny had squared up pretty nice, so I wasn't really going to challenge him. So when it just kind of got by him, I was, I got to take the next base, and then slid into third, popped up, so I got away, and what happened after that.
Cole, can you explain the feeling just sliding across home plate and then being as excited as you were?
Honestly, I really can't. When I took off, the ball didn't get away as far as I kind of thought it did. Maybe the grass kind of slowed it up a little bit more than I was expecting. Slid into home and kind of knew it was going to be a really bang play. And I just wanted to go on hard. And, I slid in and I looked up at the ump and it looked like he was about to pull me out. And as soon as I looked up at the ump, I saw the ball fall. And I was as excited as I've been my entire life, just for it to work out for us that way. It's exciting.
You keep getting reminded of the quote that it feels like you guys can't lose. But seriously, after plays like that, the 8th inning last week, how much does it still feel that way?
It's really us not quitting. Obviously I got a little lucky putting the ball on the ground and the pitcher deflecting it, but Antoine coming up with a 2-strike hit to right field, and then after we scoring, Greg doing the same thing, going to a 1-2 count and then getting a base hit. You got to have a little luck in this game for sure. And we had a little of it early, and then when you get a little of it, you got to step up. And Greg and Antoine did that.
Did you see that beach ball hit the outfield?
Yeah,
everyone started saying beach ball.
Yeah, I saw it kind of bounce around out there, and then I looked when I was on first base. I actually stood on first base, and I talked to the first baseman. I was like, dude, I'm not even as tall as you standing on the bag. And then I heard beach ball, and we turned around and saw it. But then they threw it back in the stands. I don't know why I thought it was going to come back. But I've seen that at the College World Series the last couple of years.
Yeah, but rally, possum, rally, beach ball, you see all these things that keep on happening.
Y'all want to do that? Hey, we'll go with it. We're rolling with it.
Well, just talk a little bit about the change of momentum, though, how hyped that guy's got you, and it just seemed like you just rode it from there.
Yeah, you just, like I said, you need a little bit of luck. When you're ready. That happened when I kind of just put the ball in play on the ground, it deflected, and as soon as we got the guy on, there's nobody in the country I want up besides Antoine Duplantis, and he came through once again what he's done his whole career, and we just started riding that momentum, and we've been in a lot of pressure situations all year. We played in front of that type of crowd all year, and the moment definitely doesn't get too big for us.
We haven't really gotten breaks like that all year, but I believe that you make your own luck. We had guys with a lot of speed on base and put pressure on them, and speed kills, and those guys made some awesome hustle plays there. Antoine, we were fortunate the ball to get away in the first, and Antoine had a great read and a great hustle play, and he obviously knew his speed and knew he was going to be able to make it. And then there in the eighth, both those guys run so well and were really aggressive there and made him make a play, and they didn't, and we tied it up and then took the lead. So it was awesome. It was an awesome inning right there for us.
What is it about this team to be able to kind of make these comebacks late in the inning, in late innings, like you did it last week against Mississippi State as well?
The whole game, we just feel like we're gonna, at some point, we're gonna do it. Regardless if we're down by 1 run, 5 runs, we always feel like we're gonna come back and get to them at some point. We just have too many guys that can beat you to not at least put up a fight. And I was leading off the 8th inning there. I was hoping to find any way to get on, and had a terrible at bat. I told Cole to pick me up, and he did. And Antoine came up right after him with a huge 2-strike hit. And then obviously the hustle play right there, and then Greg with another big 2-strike hit to get the winning run in. So it's awesome. There's so many guys that can beat you in our lineup, and I believe in every one of them.
What's your thought on the job that Poche was able to do tonight coming out of the pen?
Oh, he was huge. Just had a calming effect on everybody on the field. Lang didn't have his best stuff tonight, but the battle for us gave us 7 strong innings or whatever it was, and Poche came in and shut the door and gave us a chance to win, and we were able to go ahead and runs there in the 8th, and then obviously Hess came in and slammed the door shut.
Inning-ending double plays to end 3 straight innings.
Yeah, you got him. You saw tonight, defense is a premium. You can't give the other team any extra life, and they did tonight. They had a couple of missed plays that gave us some runs, and we were able to play really good defense behind our pitchers. And when you have a chance to turn it over play as a middle infielder, you want to cash in on that, and we were able to do that a couple times in really good plays.
If ever counts 2-2, 3-2, doesn't matter. Just keep throwing up zeros. Walks and hits. They don't count until they score. So if it's bases loaded every inning, you just got to figure out how to stop it. So.
What about the job that Poche did? A little different, right?
Yeah, I mean, just Poche doing Poche things. That's how I look at it. He's awesome. I'm very, very, very thrilled for him, and he deserves to tie that record.
This is a little wacky game. You probably see it, when you watch some highlights. But I mean, some odd double plays.
Yeah.
Coleman scoring in an odd way, or Freeman scoring.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad we won. So some crazy stuff happened tonight, but I'm just really pumped that we came away with the W.
Talk about how this kind of sets you guys up, and you might get another shot here.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I do. I hope I can go out there and go pitch for the Tigers again. So I mean, this is just a blessing every day to wake up and put this uniform on. So I'm hoping I get another opportunity. Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Like you said it yesterday that you knew they'd be patient and work the counts. They did that. They got a few walks and they also got a few strikeouts. Were they as patient as you expected?
Yeah, 100%.
What was it? What were they doing? Just watching your pitches. What wasn't working early on?
Command was bad. When you have bad command to a team that's going to work you deep in the counts and take pitches, and it's going to make for a long night. So you got to go out there and you got to grind through it and get as many innings as you can.
Now your knuckle curve seemed to be working still. I mean, it was diving out of the zone. They were chasing it. Is that what you expected in the scouting report?
I mean, if we execute pitches, then there's not many hitters in America that can lay off of a well-executed breaking ball. I mean that's not just for me. That's for any person. So when you pitch in your counts and you have a breaking ball and you execute it, more likely than not you're going to get a chase on it. But it's when you're falling behind 2-0s, 2-1s, 3-1s, when you have to throw a breaking ball for a strike, or you throw that really, really good 0-2 breaking ball, 2-1 count, they can spit on it because it's their count, so they can look for what they want.
How relieved were you when you guys took the lead there in the late innings?
I mean, I just hate letting my team down. When you go out there and you don't have a good outing, and the team's counting on you, get off to a good start, and you don't. It's just a good feeling.
I know that was recapping game 1, but we wanted to share that with people. Another thing, Larry, I read this week, through the first 6 games of Omaha, counting whoever played, TV viewership up 95%. That's a mind-boggling number, 95%.
That is
and a lot of people saying it's because LSU is there. And, you know, I mean, LSU plays in front of 10,000 people. They sell 10,000 tickets. Other teams play in front of 2,000. So you just do the math that many more people are
You watch the
interested.
game on TV, it looks like an LSU home game.
Yeah, and a lot of purple and gold. We got to
Oh,
give
yeah.
credit to the LSU fans that have made the trip up there. I mean, there's definitely an LSU presence in all of Omaha and at TD Ameritrade Park. No question about that. We're going to take a break, come back, keep plugging along on this Wednesday evening, the original airing of the program. Again, as always, if you're catching the rebroadcast, we appreciate that. Some people can watch it when they can watch it on ETEL Cable or Pelican Sports TV, and, of course, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcast. And we'll come back with much more. Larry Matson, Tommy Krysan, Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, Hardy Planker siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
We continue with Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, all over the world on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. And as always, we ask you to spread the roar year-round. Might have a couple of replays, couple of rebroadcasts in the coming months with lots of folks, including myself, doing a little vacation thing. So, just hang with us. Don't worry. We're not going to miss the football stuff. Larry, it's amazing how, you and I are both former ball players. We love the game of baseball. And, we're paying close attention to Omaha. And even if LSU would not have made it, we'd still be paying attention to the College World Series. But as you know, not from Louisiana, but you've been here a very long time, the people love their football in this state.
Oh, there's no doubt. Football is king. But where else can you find college baseball as high ranked as it is here? I mean, this you can go to Illinois or California or New York, and well, maybe California because of Cal State Fullerton. They brought some interest to the game. But college baseball in Louisiana is big too.
Well, you know, and it all started with Skip Bertman. You know, and he had a vision to change things at LSU and to compete for a national championship, and then that filtered into the other colleges and universities.
Oh, they built stadiums all over the SEC because of what they did at Alex Box.
Yeah, but I mean, Louisiana, it filtered around Louisiana, where you look at what Southeastern has now. Nicholls State having some turf put in. You know, Teague Field in Lafayette is just phenomenal. And, you know, you look at that, and then that even goes further into the high school programs. I mean, I've been at some high school facilities this spring and summer that when I look back, I'm looking at it, covered hitting facilities, and I mean, got just locker room. I mean, it is, you know, it is trickled down. Travel ball is very big. Youth baseball is very big. And it all kind of started, it grew, not started, it grew because of what Skip Bertman did, and everybody started saying, hey, carbon copy. And then to your point, other Southeastern Conference teams, other college teams said, hey, we can make more out of this baseball stuff. I mean, I'll say it. I mean, this may come as a shock to people, but when I played at Southeastern, no lights. The football team used the outfield for practice.
Yeah.
Many times. Now, not my whole career, but the first part of my career they did. You know, I mean, can you imagine Ed Orgeron taking the Tigers over to the box and tearing up right in center field, working on some football stuff? I mean, that was what it was. Baseball was over here, you know?
I tell you, you can go one step further back even. When Skip Bertman was at Miami, he coached with Ron Frazier. And Ron Frazier showed, I think, that area that you could sell outfield fence signs. You can develop a fundraising campaign for the team to develop some interest in the team monetarily. They had their own team bus. I remember when we played them, they drove up to Auburn to play us, and I was impressed that they had their own Miami Hurricane team bus. And I went over and talked to the coach after our series with them, and I told him, I said, you got the greatest job in baseball. He said, why is that? I said, you get to play baseball year-round down there in Miami. I said, that's got to be great to be a coach at a place like that. He said, well, I appreciate that. I never knew Skip was there at that time. He may not have been there at that particular time.
Got there a little after that.
But it was a little after that. Skip saw the potential. When he came here, I think that's what he sold the administration on, that we can make baseball into something here, because I've seen it happen in Miami. And by golly, he started selling outfield fence signs, got some popularity to the game, started getting 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 at the old box. And other schools started taking note of that and saying, hey, if he can do that, what's wrong with our program? Why are we not doing that? When I played at Auburn, if we played Florida, we never played Alabama. I don't know why, but we just didn't.
They were scared, probably. Scared of old number 7 here.
But we played Florida, we'd have maybe 1,000 fans at a Florida game. But outside of Florida, we'd have 100, 200. Most of them were students. I mean, it wasn't anybody from the community. And by golly, now it's not as big as LSU, but certainly they built a new stadium. They bring in people from the community, not just the university. And that's what Skip Bertman did at LSU. He brought people in from the community. Some of them have never even been to LSU other than to go to a ball game. But they come to the ball games and they support the Tigers.
Well, you know, and I played after you, but same thing. We had 100 to maybe 200 people, and 40 of them were football players that just said, "Oh, let's go watch the baseball team
let's go
play."
See the guys, you know?
Yeah. And then, but if we played UNO, who was very good under Ron Maestri, and if we played Tulane with Joe Brockhoff, Nichols was our rivalry coach, Mike Knight. You know, we'd have the 500-600 or maybe more, you know. And then since we didn't have lights, we'd go play in Ponchatoula at Athletic Park because they had the lights. And we'd always play UNO or Tulane down there, and then we'd probably get better than 1,000 people there. And Ponchatoula is a great baseball city, so some of the community would come out and say, "Hey, we got a chance to watch UNO, Tulane, Southeastern, whatever." So that was kind of cool too. But no, and then you look at what happens now, and all things change. We know that, but you know, football will always be king. But Louisiana is pretty darn good in baseball, top to bottom. When I say top to bottom, I'm talking about, you know, the collegiate level, right on down through the T-ball guys. You know, my grandson's playing coach pitch ball, you know, the little bitty guys, you know.
You know how many think about how many college baseball teams there are in Louisiana, and they're all very competitive. That's what's amazing to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they hope to have 5 in the tournament this year. They only ended up with 2. But a lot of good teams didn't go, like ULL and McNeese, who was very good, didn't quite sneak in there this year. But Louisiana Tech didn't get in, but was in last year up
Jim
in Ruston.
Hawthorne, the former Tiger announcer, played at Northwestern. So, I mean, there's a lot of...
Oh, no, it's a rich tradition. And, again, I know baseball's been around long before Skip Bertman, but he definitely had a major impact on the growth end of those kind of things. All right, we got a little interview stuff for you. Game 2. All right, Oregon State. Everybody said 55-4. Well, guess what? They're pretty darn good, you know. And in those 4 losses, none of them are back-to-back. So they haven't lost 2 games in a row all season long. And they don't have their 2 best players. Their starting pitcher's not there for some off-the-field issues. Starting right, he never made the trip. The starting right fielder was sent home shortly after the team arrived in Omaha for some violation of team policies or rules. But this team came out, and from the very first pitch with that opening push bunt, they got after LSU and never looked back.
Looking at the 4 losses, they had one in late February, which means they were just getting started. The other 3 losses all came in April. So they haven't lost in May or June. That's pretty amazing. They had 2 straight. Now it's 23 straight with the win over LSU that they've won. And yeah, the competition may not have been as big as LSU's SEC schedule and that sort of thing. And they're not 13-1 better than LSU. LSU made every mistake they could make: base running, fielding, hitting, pitching, 12 walks. I mean, every facet of the game they messed up. They're not going to do that again.
When you walk 12 people and you hit one, you have trouble beating anybody, much less a team the caliber of Oregon State. Right. We got some comments from the locker room. Hey, in baseball, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some are going to get rained out. And Mama said there'd be days like this. Sometimes you're just going to get it taken behind the woodshed and get your tail whipped. Here's some comments from some of the LSU players in the locker room after that loss to Oregon State earlier in the week.
Just kind of started feeling tight, and at the end just got too tight to throw, and I thought it was best for the team to come out.
Looks like you were devastated to even come out of this game, right?
That's the game you want to be in, and to come out and obviously I didn't want to hurt my team, and be in the game with too tight to throw wasn't going to be effective, but obviously you want to do everything you can to be in there.
Did you feel okay this morning?
Yeah, the tightness I had earlier this week kind of went away, and I felt great leading up to this. I did everything this week to prepare. Like I said, the first 2 innings felt great, but the 3rd inning started to feel it.
How confident are you that you can pitch again soon?
I have to get with the training staff and talk about it. I haven't even thought that far yet.
How hard was it just to deal with that on the mound, the fact that you knew you had to come out of the game?
Extremely tough. I can't even really put it into words. It's, the first reaction is you let your team down, and you feel like you did. But, it's a tough game to swallow, especially coming out early.
So you don't think it's anything serious?
I don't know. We'll have to look at it with the training staff.
Why didn't you go into the training room while you were in the dugout? Why'd you just...
normally when you feel good, you don't do anything different than you've been doing all season, and just kind of hang out and I heated during the inning. I felt good until that 3rd inning.
Oh, I meant after.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
I came in and iced, but there's nothing we could really do.
Not much of time, and there was nothing wrong coming out early with me. I mean, you just got to fill up the strike zone, so just blew my night.
Did you feel it early that it was going to be rough, or was it just as it developed?
I guess as it developed. I mean, I didn't have my full confidence out there and just wasn't myself.
The grand slam, what happened on that pitch?
Oh, it was just a fastball right from there. I missed my location and paid consequences.
How about the approach that Oregon State seems to take at the plate? They're very patient hitters and kind of showed tonight.
Yeah, they're very patient. They have a great eye. They're a great ball club. So we're going to take this one game at a time, move to Wednesday and see Florida State.
Caleb was saying they were really fighting them off, a lot of fouls. What does it do to a pitcher when a team can fight you off like that?
I mean, sometimes it could aggravate you because you felt like I threw a good pitch, and but we just have to continue throwing strikes and let our defense work.
No, it's not what we wanted. We had a great opportunity tonight. We knew that. We were ready. We were ready to play. We had a lot of energy during batting practice today, and they came out and they punched us first in the mouth in the first inning, got the first run, and we didn't put any pressure on them. We didn't have great at bats. At the beginning of the game, we hit a few balls hard, and they got some breaks. And after that, we didn't put together good at bats and put any kind of pressure on them. And then we just gave them a lot of runs, and you can't give a team that's that good that many runs.
Was losing Walker just a little bit demoralizing? Did it feel like you guys were so ready to follow his lead, and then when he went out, it just kind of took the air out of the sails a little?
Yeah, it sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, if Eric could go, we know he could stay out there on the mound, but he obviously was hurting pretty bad. And then when Caleb came in, I thought he did a good job. He did 2 strikes, and just in the 5th inning, started with my error, and then he got the next guy out. We had 2 outs, and they just started the 2 and 3. All those, they're great hitters. They put strung together a couple hits there. And after that, we just didn't play well at all. We had terrible at bats offensively as a team, and then just all the way around, just a poor performance by us tonight. But we'll respond. We've had our backs against the wall before. It's not our first time to play bad. It doesn't happen often, but we got to go out there on Wednesday and play a great game. We'll be ready to go.
Thanks, Kramer.
What was the starter doing so well? It seemed like I think he got you guys to pop up 15 times or something like that.
Yeah, he's pounded the zone. He commanded 3 pitches, and he made us get ourselves out. A few times maybe we got too big, trying to do too much, and then he kept us off balance. He just not a very good performance by us offensively tonight. Didn't hit a ton of balls hard, and the ones we did seemed like they caught. But you create your own luck, and the more balls you hit hard, the more holes you find. Just gonna have to play better and get back to work tomorrow and practice. Have a crisp practice, and Wednesday night we're gonna have our backs against the wall against a really good team. So we already snuck a win against last game. So you win Wednesday, and you still have a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Did you feel like you guys started pressing as the deficit got bigger?
I don't know if we even had time to press. They went up 3-0, and then shut us down there pretty quickly, which is what you want to do after you score runs. You want to go put up a 0, and they did that. And then soon after that, just the wheels fell off, and there was a snowball effect, and we couldn't stop the bleeding there for a while. And before you know it, it's 8-0, and then it's 11-0, and then 13-1. It's just frustrating, not fun to be a part of. But it's over. It is what it is, and we can still do it.
We continue with Tigers Roar here, and again, you get beat 13-1. Question for you, Larry, and I heard some people talk about this, some calls on the radio. Would you rather lose 3-2 in 12 innings, or you want to get beat 13-1 and just turn the page? I mean, nobody likes losing, but some people try to say, well, it's better to get beat 13-1 than lose 3-2 in 12 innings when you kind of had a chance and it got away. I don't know. I don't like losing at anything.
I'd rather lose by 1 than by 12.
Yeah, at least then you had a chance. 13-1, they were just going through the. Once that grand slam,
but the count's just the same amount.
Once they hit that grand slam, make it 8-0.
Yeah, that was it.
You pretty much knew the hay was in the barn right there, But
and the sad thing was they should have been out of that inning before the home run was hit too.
Errors, but then the walks and the hit batter. Ooh, it got bad. As you said, every aspect of the game. And then they had people say, well, maybe they got it out of their system. They got all the bad stuff out of the way. So. And I know right now they're hanging on with Florida State. Well, we can get you a final. We will. Again, with that situation.
What worries me about that game that's going on right now, and I know you're going to see this on tape delay, some people, is the fact that they scored all the runs in 1 inning. That worries me a little bit too.
Well, hey, it don't matter when you get them. You got to get.
I like to see them.
But the other thing is, you got to get that other team out 27 times.
Yeah, that's right.
What was it? Texas A&M was down to their last strike trail in 3-0 to LSU back in the spring, and ended up winning the game 4-3. We were 1 pitch away from losing and won the game. So
and keep in mind, Florida State is there because they beat Auburn twice. They had to beat them twice in the regional, and they did it. That's what kills me. And not the super regional, but the but the region.
Yeah, so no, they've earned their way, and even Cal State Fullerton and A&M, who've already been eliminated, that's still a very good baseball team. They got to Omaha, you know. All right, hey, we're gonna take another little break for you right here on Tigers Roar. We come back, we'll tell you about our radio station, and then we got some more LSU baseball stuff for you. All of that is up next right here on Pelican Sports TV. Larry Matson, Tommy Chrysan, stay with us.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-779-1032, 800-779-1032.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis. Not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
We continue with Tigers Roar, and as we continue in the top of the ninth in Omaha, Kramer Robertson gets his first hit in Omaha, a single in the right center field, so that's got to feel like he's getting a little monkey off of his back there.
An elephant.
Yeah, big monkey or a big elephant or two elephants maybe. But anyway, as that game, LSU's still hanging on. They're very near the end. And, of course, when it does get to the end, we're going to recap it for you, get Larry's thoughts and comments as well as mine, and go forward with that. Still to come on the program, Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. We will certainly get with Mike on everything that's happened in LSU football recruiting to date, and then, of course, what's happening in that elite camp going on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week out at the LSU football practice facility. I want to tell you about the radio station that we have, WUBR, CBS Sports Radio affiliate, as we've got Jim Rome from CBS Sports Radio Monday through Friday from 11 to 1, as well as the Jim Rome Sports Minute at 4:58 each afternoon. Buddy Sanji, Jordy Hultberg, Carlos Brown, through the night, Louisiana Music Hall of Fame Radio, hosted by Mike Shepard. That's great music by Louisiana talent, the very best of Louisiana, members of the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame, hosted by Mike Shepard. Good stuff there. You need to check that out through the night here on the radio station. We got some more comments after the Oregon State game as we watch and wait for them to wrap up Omaha now. Again, TV production, sometimes you get tangled in there, but that's the way it goes. It is what it is. Here are some more comments from the press conference after LSU Oregon State.
I'll start off with a comment from Coach Mainieri, then we'll open it up for questions to the players only, and then we'll finish up with Coach Maneri after that. Paul, please give us an overview.
Well, that wasn't what we had expected or hoped for, obviously. It's a heck of a way for a 17-game winning streak to end. But, you know, it just, right from the start, things didn't go well for us. You know, Eric missed his spot on a 2-strike pitch to their 3-hole hitter, and he got a RBI single there in the first inning. And then it looked like he was settling in and was going to do great, and then his forearms tightened up again, which is what happened a week ago after an inter-squad game. We had done, you know, he had gone through a bunch of rehab and through a couple of side sessions and felt great, felt 100%. His warm-ups today in the bullpen were great. His first 2 innings were great, and then on the third pitch of his warm-ups for the 3rd inning, he just felt it tighten up again. And so obviously we had to take him out. We don't think it's anything serious. It's just, I think, a fatigued muscle. He's pitched more innings this year than he ever has, and I think he's running a little bit dry. So we'll see. We'll see if he'd be available if we're fortunate enough to make it to the final round, but we're just not sure. After that, I thought Caleb did a really nice job for us to keep us in the game there, but we were having a tough time solving their pitcher. You know, he threw a lot of off-speed pitches and pitched backwards an awful lot, and we kind of knew what to expect, but we just didn't probably have as good approach as we needed to. So if we get a chance to face him again, we'll have to, you know, reanalyze our approach, and hopefully we'll be better. And then, of course, you know, walking 12 batters and hitting a batter and making an infield error, you can't do that against anybody, much less a team like Oregon State. Every time we made a mistake, they took advantage of it. So you give a lot of credit to Oregon State. They've got an excellent ball club, you know, well coached. You know, every mistake we made, they took advantage of it, and they just are a very sound fundamental team. I think we are too. We just didn't look like it tonight. But you know, our whole goal now is to put this behind us as quickly as we can. We'll take a day of practice tomorrow and get ourselves ready for Florida State on Wednesday. It's a big game. We'll go after, let Poche go after the record for winning, become the winningest pitcher in school history. We'll try to win our 50th game. So we got a lot to play for. And we'll just take it one at a time, and hopefully we can get another shot at Oregon State later in the week.
Okay, let's start with players. Questions for the players. Start with you, Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Caleb, you know, Coach mentioned it seemed like whenever you guys made a mistake, they took advantage of it. How difficult is it to kind of keep them at bay, and what makes that offense so hard to contain?
They're definitely a scrappy offense. Thought I was making some good pitches, and they would just foul it off and have to go right back at it and do it again, and just getting me deep in counts as far as just running up my pitch count a little bit, and I just couldn't get that put away when in the crunch time.
Okay, next question. Yeah, Teddy.
Teddy Cahill, Baseball America. Caleb, with their pitching staff and the way Femmel was going, did you guys feel like you had to be almost perfect on the mound?
No, not at all. I mean, with the defense I have behind me, I have faith in every one of those guys, and AD calling the pitches and Pat behind the plate. I mean, I was just there to execute pitches and get guys out and try and get back in the dugout as fast as possible.
Okay, there on the right.
Caleb, you've been in this situation lately in the long relief role, but you probably weren't expecting to come in the 3rd inning today. How fast did you have to kind of get ready and to go in there?
I mean, it wasn't anything unusual for me because I like to get going, and I can get hot pretty fast. So it honestly felt good just to get comfortable warming up on the mound that I was going to be pitching on. So,
Aaron, once again.
Zach, when you are prepared for a guy to be pitching backwards the way Bryce did, what makes it so difficult to hit him anyway, knowing what to expect?
Well, I mean, he wasn't just throwing the same to every batter. It was all speed fastball, and then you never knew what was going to come next. I mean, some batters he started off with curveballs, some fastballs, and he makes his pitches very good, and we just struggle to hit him.
Okay, cool. More questions for the players? Okay, guys, y'all are excused. We'll see you Wednesday. Once again, please identify yourself, your affiliation, and to whom you were asking the question. Of course, it was just Coach Maneri now, but that's a normal thing. Bill? Bill?
That's it. Hey, Bill, will you let the kids know when they can leave from the locker room and then start towards the bus?
Okay, let's take questions for Coach Maneri. Once again. Yeah.
Luke Johnson, the Baton Rouge Advocate. Paul, when Eric went out there, it seemed like everything was kind of tight, and he was doing a good job there. But is that kind of like a hard thing to overcome when you're kind of counting on that guy to give you a big outing, and you have to go to your bullpen right away? And
Well, it certainly wasn't what we had hoped for, that's for sure. I thought he was throwing the ball really well. They were being real aggressive. I mean, the game started off, tough for us. The kid put down a beautiful bunt, and they hit and ran, got the guy to second base, and then, Eric had the three-hole hitter, missed a couple of good change-ups, and then we tried to jam him, and the ball just tailed back over the plate a little bit, and he gave up the RBI single. But other than that, I thought Eric was throwing the ball really well, and, we figured we'd get to their pitcher eventually. But when all of a sudden you have to take one of your starting pitchers out after 2 innings, obviously it's going to tax your staff. And, Gilbert I thought was really good. But like he said, they ran his pitch count up. They fouled off an awful lot of pitches, which is, what good hitters do and good teams do. They were very pesky. And, I just thought it was time to get Caleb out of there. And, we gave some other guys an opportunity, and most of them had a difficult time throwing strikes. We went to Hunter Newman early, trying to just keep us in the game, and KJ hit that first pitch grand slam, and I kind of busted it open at that point. So it was a difficult night for the Tigers, but we still have breath, and we'll bounce back on Wednesday, 1 game at a time from this point on. Didn't Coastal lose a game early last year and came back? So, it's been done before. It's not the easiest route, but fortunately, there's some days off that allow your pitching staff to recover a little bit. And, we're going to face a tough ball team on Wednesday in Florida State. And, we just got to get the job done Wednesday and then live to play another day on Friday. Take it one at a time.
Okay, back here.
Anthony Trusano, NCAA.com. Coach, you kind of talked about it in your opening statement, but just how much pressure does Oregon State put on teams to kind of play mistake-free baseball?
Yeah, they're really well coached. I mean, they got some nice ball players, and they know their roles. I mean, the 2 kids at the top of their order, they make them go. And I don't see weaknesses in their team. They've got a really good team. That's why they've only lost 4 games in what's it been now, 60 games. I mean, that's ridiculous. But you give them a lot of credit. I mean, they got an outstanding ball club, and we knew we'd have to play a really good game. And I think when Eric Walker went out, it just put us behind the 8 ball there, and we weren't very competitive tonight. And this doesn't happen to us very frequently. I can't recall it happening another time this year. I don't remember if it did, but it wasn't much fun out there tonight for us.
Coach, I believe this was the most walks you've seen an LSU team give up since your time here. Is this as bad of a night command-wise as you've seen, and what was the issue?
It was tough. I mean, the best pitch in baseball is a strike. I've seen a lot of games in my life, over 2,000 of them, but when you walk a lot of batters, you greatly reduce your chances of winning. I've learned that. And, some of the guys that we brought in, haven't pitched a lot, and that's probably why, because they haven't thrown enough strikes to pitch a lot. And hopefully, the next time they get opportunities, they'll be a little bit better. Nick Bush came in and got a couple big outs for us. and then walked the leadoff batter the next inning. You know, we just got to get better from there. You know, I know the kids are trying. It's a tough environment for their first time at a College World Series and getting in the game. So hopefully if they get other opportunities this week, they'll be better.
We have time for one more question. Where we have back here? Okay.
Scott Rabelais with the Baton Rouge Advocate. Paul, knowing your team as you do you feel like you're going to have to use a little psychology to get them to put this game behind them, or do you feel like they'll be able to do that and bounce back 2 days from now?
Yeah, well, that's my job, Scott. You know, if things aren't, you know, we won 17 in a row, but that's not the way it normally is. You know, winning 17 in a row is difficult to do. So we're used to the valleys and the peaks and the valleys and the peaks. I mean, this is what college athletics and competitive athletics are. So my job is to get them into the right frame of mind, and they will be. I already talked to them a little bit after the game when we huddled out there. And this is why, you know, if you talk about winning the national championship, it seems like a daunting task now. We've got to win 3 more games just to get out of our bracket, and then 2 more. I mean, we need to win 5 more games to do it. Had we won tonight, we'd only had 3 more to do. So if you look at it that way, it seems too daunting. That's why all we got to focus on is Wednesday's game against Florida State. Florida State's got an excellent ball club. They'll be ready to play, and we've got to be ready to play as well, and it's going to take everything we can do to win a game. And if we're fortunate enough to win on Wednesday, we get another day off, and then we got Lang ready to go on Friday. And then if we're able to win Friday, then you figure something out for Saturday. That's the best you can do. But if you think too far ahead, it's overwhelming. So you just think about Wednesday, Florida State, Mike Martin, great coach, great team. We got to get ready to play for those guys.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much.
We continue with the Tigers Roar here on this Wednesday evening. LSU hanging on in the 9th inning. They've added an insurance run to go up 6-2. Poche has thrown 98 pitches through 8 innings. That's an excellent pitch ratio. We'll keep you posted on all that good stuff as we got the little conflict that you know about tonight. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to be joined by Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. Get the very latest on LSU football recruiting. We'll interject when we get a final score, and then after Mike, you'll get Larry and I's comments once the score is final up in Omaha in the elimination game between LSU and Florida State. We'll be back right after this pause. Stay with us.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-718-3516, 800-718-3516.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Larry Matz and Tommy Chrysan with you. LSU has moved ahead 7-2. Florida State to the bullpen they go. But it's our pleasure to say hello to Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. Mike, good evening. How are you?
Doing great. Good to see Kramer Robinson snap out of it.
What'd you think of the hairdo?
Look, because of, his mom being there, I know some people are kind of getting after him about it, but, there's other kids on the team that have superstitions and do things, but, is it kind of a deal where is it not his fault that TV and media give him the attention? It's kind of a chicken or the egg argument, isn't it?
Yeah, could be. I mean, I've heard both sides of the story, and I kind of understand both. But, anyway, we'll let it be what it is. And if they hang on and finish off this game against Florida State, it's going to get talked about a lot less than had it not went well tonight, and in particular with him. But he did get a hit in his last at-bat to kind of snap a little streak up there of hitless games, hitless at-bats in Omaha. So maybe
a couple of, they finish it off with two, a stolen second base and a slide at home. So it was a breakthrough in multiple ways that inning.
Mike, a lot of folks focusing on Omaha and the LSU baseball Tigers, but football recruiting news has been popping up with commitments and decommitments and guys putting LSU on their list. And we'll talk about the camp at LSU this week in a moment. But kind of update us the last couple of weeks, what has happened from the recruiting standpoint with LSU football.
Well, 2 weeks ago you got the commitment from East Ascension offensive tackle Cameron Wire. And then, of course, this Saturday, LSU had a 7-on-7 lineman camp where they got Dare Rosenthal, the defensive tackle or offensive tackle prospect from Faraday, Louisiana, one that was highly coveted. At one point a year ago was committed to Alabama. Then he backed off of that. And his teammate, an athlete, defensive end, possibly one of those stand-up linebackers in a 3-4, Dantree Scott, 6'5", 2 1/4. I was out there on Saturday, but I was mostly paying attention to 7-on-7, so I didn't get to see him work. So I'm hoping that those guys will be back either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, so I get a chance to see him. If not, I'll have to wait till the fall when Faraday plays at Denham Springs. So, but they obviously like him, and if you saw the photo of the two kids from Faraday on each side of Orgeron, Rosenthal is 6'7", and Scott is 6'5". So, but what we've seen this year is you've got two commitments from Faraday. You got 3 from Evangel. You had 3 from Rome, Georgia. So it's been a class where you've had multiple kids from the same high school for multiple high schools as a part of LSU's class.
Mike, so kind of summarize, if you will, how's Ed Orgeron and the staff doing out there in the recruiting world?
Look, the class is number 3, ranked number 3 in the country by Rivals.com, 18 commitments. There's some very good football players in there. I think there's a few that stand out, Rosenthal being one of them. I think, Adam Anderson, the defensive end from Rome, Georgia, who there's a worry that he would possibly flip to Georgia, and Kirby Smart and his staff are really hoping to do that. But I think Nadab Joseph, the defensive back from Florida, who's going to be in town for this camp this week, Kelvin Joseph from Scotlandville is a big one. I think Nelson Jenkins from Plaquemine might be a little bit underrated and one that we want to really watch this fall about possibly getting a higher ranking. But, you still got some big guys on the board, and a lot of them on the offensive side of the ball. Terrace Marshall, who, up in Shreveport, Bossier City Parkway, 5-star wide receiver. You got Jamar Chase from Rummel, another top, Rivals 250 wide receiver they covet. And then we'll see about whether they get 2 running backs. Harold Joyner from Alabama's looks like a really good lean to LSU, and we should have an answer on him before his senior year. So 18 commitments, going to sign a full class, and the majority of the remaining spots are probably going to go on the offensive side of the ball, maybe whether it's another offensive lineman or two, a couple of running backs, 2 or 3 wide receivers, and we'll wait to see if there's a quarterback in this class or not.
We're visiting with Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. You need to get your subscription to TigerBait.com and be ready for all the football stuff with SEC Media Days right a couple of weeks around the corner. Hey, Mike, the camp at LSU this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tell the folks who's coming to the camp and what is LSU hoping to get out of it.
Well, we're going to see if the weather has any effect. I know I just talked to a coach from Richwood up in Monroe, where LSU off their tight end to see what day they were coming, and they were unsure if they were coming because of the weather. But you're going to have the majority of the in-state commitments that are there in attendance. A couple of high-profile running backs that are on the board. Chris Curry from Florida, Lehigh Acres is one that'll be there. All your top kids from New Orleans are expected to be there. We'll see if the Rosenthal comes back in. But it's, a lot of it is, are they going to come in for a day? Are they going to come in for 2 days? It's a really good opportunity for the coaching staff to really, build their relationships and, and see if they can close out some of these guys before it gets too close to the football season, and some of these guys, they want to get in the early signing period.
Well, and I'll interject, Florida State has hit back-to-back home runs and trimmed the lead to 7-4. Tigers on top, Florida State batting bottom of 9. Poche's still out there, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be out there if this keeps happening. A couple of deep, big flies to left field. Way out of the park with the second one there. So we'll see what's up. We'll kind of keep tabs on that. Mike, what does the rest of the summer look like for recruiting? Isn't there about to be a little dead period, a little lack of contact?
Yeah, this is it for the camps. No longer do you have a camp at the end of July. This is the end of the camp season for LSU. So then you'll get into July and SEC Media Days, and but you're going to have a lot of kids that show up on campus the rest of the summer for unofficial visits. I think that it will be some of the things that you hear about. I know last week I talked to another running back on LSU's board, Andrew Cunningham from Tampa, Florida, who said that he wants to visit LSU later in the summer and possibly July for him. And there's going to be others. This LSU coaching staff's really doing a good job of getting guys on campus on a regular basis, not just for spring games and camps, just to come and hang out and watch film and really get to know the staff one-on-one.
Poche's out of the game. LSU will go to the bullpen leading by 3. Florida State batting bottom of 9. Mike, Will Wade making a lot of noise around this country, trying to bring what LSU basketball needs, and that's players, albeit some of them will have to sit out a year. But Will Wade is getting around this country trying to improve LSU basketball.
Yeah, we broke the news last week about Cavell Bigby Williams, the Oregon transfer, coming in for an official visit this weekend. And like I said before the weekend, the confidence was high that he would end up at LSU, and sure enough, he committed, announced yesterday. And so, it's amazing the amount of interest that we've seen nationally and regionally in LSU basketball that wasn't there before Will Wade got there. In a short amount of time, I'm seeing the Rivals basketball recruiting staff who attend all these AAU events, Nike, Adidas, all the different Las Vegas in basketball tournaments and so forth, and they're kicking out content, and a lot of these kids are mentioning LSU in a prominent way. So I'm seeing an uptick in fan interest on TigerBait.com, and I think it's just a matter of time. He's I'll be shocked if he doesn't have the kind of success he wants to have, and he'll flat out tell you that it's a 3-year plan. And but I think in the year 1 and year 2, I think they're going to be fun to follow, and you're going to enjoy seeing what's being built for the future. I think they're going to have a real nice infusion of new season ticket holders. I really do.
Mike, tell everybody what's happening at TigerBait.com and how the viewers can get out there and subscribe.
Yeah, we'll be real active on the message board tomorrow at the through the camp and all our camp coverage. For the coming week. We'll see if LSU gets a couple of 2 or 3 commitments. I think it could be likely. So we got that for you. All of our baseball coverage, College World Series, Brian Lazar's all over that. And we've been kicking out basketball content pretty regularly as well. So if you're an LSU fan, try out TigerBait.com. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thanks for your time.
All right, talk soon.
All right. And Zach Hess is in the game for LSU. There are no outs. Bases are empty. Tigers are leading by 3, trying to stave off elimination. There's strikeout, 1 out, big strikeout by Hess. Larry, we made the comment, you got to get folks out 27 times, and now they need 2 more playing the old outs game there. And Florida State had them back-to-back bombs to make it go from 7-2 to 7-4. You got to finish it, right?
You got to remember that. I was worried about just 5 runs in 1 inning. Thank goodness they got a few more there in the 8th. That's a little bit of a pad. Now they got the 3-run lead. Yeah,
and again, the original airing of this program, we're tangling with the game. If you're catching this on YouTube or a replay, you'll get it. It's what happens, and it's the summertime, right? We're glad to get Mike to get all the football updating because so many people wanting to get a hold of that. But Mike has been impressed with LSU at Orgeron. He talked about that. He talked about being impressed with Will Wade. As I said a little earlier, Larry, it's not going to happen instantly with basketball, but I think they're on the right path. I think the future's bright.
I certainly hope so, and I'm pulling for Will Wade. I've never met him either. I'd like to meet him too, like you said, you hadn't seen him yet or talked with him yet. And this whole year is going to be interesting. You got a new head football coach. You got a new basketball coach. You got a baseball team that went to the World Series.
Women's softball went to the World Series.
Women's softball was outstanding.
Men's golf did very well.
Absolutely. It's been a good year, and 2018 may even be better.
Yeah, no question about that. Poche was lifted from the game, and actually he's the pitcher of record now. And should LSU and Zach Hess nail this thing down, he's going to become the all-time winner in his career at LSU, provided they hang on. And if they don't hang on, he's not going to get another chance to pitch. They hang on, it's possible he pitches again, but he will get the record if Hess can save it for LSU here with Florida State bottom ninth. He just recorded his 2nd strikeout. LSU's 1 strike away from advancing and getting Jared Poche that record.
What is Hess? 6'6"? I think he's a pretty big kid.
No. 6 foot.
He's 6 foot.
Hess is 6'6".
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I thought I was looking at the picture of Poche, and I thought you meant him. I apologize. Yeah. No, Hess is 6'6", and going to be a Friday night starter next year.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to project him into the starting role, into the rotation next year, and he's no longer a freshman. I mean, he's a freshman, but as many innings as he's pitched, as many critical games as he's played in, he's now a veteran.
Well, that's all part of the plan. That's what Alan Dunn and Paul Maneri have done with some of the midweek games. And you remember the criticism, hey, losing some midweek games. UNO clocked them twice. McNeese beat them. South Alabama beat them. But
that was the build.
Yes, you want to win those games, but most coaches will tell you they're trying to accomplish some other things there. And in this case, did it. And Hess is just throwing smoke right at these guys,
95.
trying to save this thing. 95. I can tell you a story about facing that. We'll do. We got to have some stories before we go, Larry. Every time I have you on, and that following week, people say, "Man, I love them stories from Larry about Bum Phillips and the Saints days and all that." And I got a story about 95 miles an hour too that I'm going to share with you.
I can tell you this. Tommy Lasorda told my son one day. He said, "Don't worry about the radar gun," because my son did not throw hard. He said, that's the worst thing that ever happened in baseball was the radar gun. He said, if that was the case, he said, I know that Sandy Koufax beat me out and Sandy Koufax could throw it 100 miles an hour and all that sort of thing. But let me tell you, he said, too much emphasis is put on that. I want pitchers, and he was talking about being a manager for the Dodgers, I want pitchers who get people out. I don't care if you throw it 75 or 95.
Yeah, well,
But they like 95.
Greg Maddox did not throw hard, and he's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest pitchers ever in the game. LSU is basically one strike away, Hessen to wind up, and just missed. A little up and away. That radar gun was incorrect there, but yeah. So anyway, as we're here on a Wednesday night with Tigers Roar, don't forget mid-morning Thursday. It'll go up on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Where you can check it out at your convenience, the entire program, as we roll through the summer, getting you ready for football. And I'm filibustering here as we get to this. See if Hess can whip up another strike here. And boom.
Close, but no cigar.
Just missed on the outside, huh?
97.
So now you got the tie and run on deck. Not at the plate, so the ball out of the park still doesn't tie you.
Yeah.
But you got the tie and run on deck, which means he'll get the save, obviously, but a little pinch runner. But that run doesn't mean anything here in this deal with LSU. We're going to keep it right here, but you mentioned the success of changing two coaches, and then softball going to Oklahoma City. Golf team won the regional, went to the national tournament up there outside of Chicago. Chuck Winstead does a great job with that golf program.
They were ranked one of the top teams.
They've set some records this year for tournament wins, and Sam Burns was an unbelievable player who will be out on the PGA Tour, following many other LSU golfers to the tour going forward. I mean, that guy, like some of those before him, including David Toms, who's going into the Hall of Fame this weekend, they can flat out get it done on the golf course. So we'll see how that goes. And other than that, as Mike Scarborough said, the big camp at LSU, the football camp, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If the weather is messing with them, they'll jump inside a little bit and try to deal with all of that.
Let me ask you a question. You were a baseball player in college. When you look back at your career and just throw that aside, if you could pick a sport and you could be a maybe not a superstar, but be a star, be a big-time player, what sport would you have enjoyed?
It's funny you say that, because I have a great story about that. See, you're prompting me or prodding me into several great stories, okay? And, years ago, played a lot of golf, and at a time I may have asked that question, I want to win the Masters of the United States Open or something like that. But I don't know. I always had a dream to pitch in Yankee Stadium. Of course, it never came true, not even close. But I think I'd like to throw in a World Series game at Yankee Stadium. I always thought the first pitch I'd knock the catcher over. I'd be so amped up and whatnot. So I think I'd fall back to baseball. But if you asked me to push it outside of baseball, since I played through the collegiate level, I think I'd like to win the Masters in the golf tournament.
I think that came along for me later in life, golf. I would like to win the Masters later. But when I was younger, if I couldn't make it in the big leagues as a baseball player, I wanted to be a 100-meter dash guy in the Olympics and win the Olympic gold medal. That was one of the things I would have enjoyed.
I'm interested. I wouldn't have expected you to give that answer, but it's all good. I mean, no problem with that answer, but I don't think I'd have guessed that one, Larry. I've known you for a long time. But no, that's good, and that's pretty cool. But no, we got LSU's one strike away from winning and advancing, sending Florida State and Mike Martin home. The Tiger faithful that are in Omaha are on their feet, trying to encourage Zach Hess here to finish this thing off, get it done, and he may well do it with this pitch. Nope, missed outside again. As that last pitch, that last out can sometimes be the toughest one to get. We all know that, especially in a situation like this. This is not some midweek game in March. This is the College World Series.
I didn't mention this, and I want to. Well, we got the game going right now. Ben McDonald is back in the booth for this one, and I'm so glad to see him back in the booth talking. And I know he's an LSU guy, but
he's never done a game in Omaha, so I'm glad to see him back there. He does. I think Ben has become a great announcer.
He really has.
Like everybody else, first time he announced the game, he'd probably admit he wasn't real good, but I think he does a fabulous job. Here's strike three. LSU has won. Final score. That's what we were waiting on. A breaking ball called strike three. LSU has defeated Florida State 7-4. The quick side story is Jared Poche is now the winningest pitcher in the history of LSU baseball, and they've had a lot of great pitchers play baseball for LSU
and then
take it on to the next level. So LSU does get the win. in spite of the 2 home runs in the bottom of the 9th by Florida State. It's all over with. They're showing Poche, and next week I'm sure we'll have plenty of Poche stuff for you. But it's over for Florida State. They become the 3rd team eliminated, following Cal State Fullerton, following Texas A&M, and now LSU will play at 2 o'clock Friday. 2 o'clock Friday in a game against Oregon State. If Oregon State wins, they advance to the championship series. If LSU wins, they'll play Oregon State again on Saturday at a time to be determined. And that time may not be determined until Friday. It's going to depend on what happens in the other bracket. So we do have a final score. Your thoughts on LSU putting the 13-1 loss to Oregon State on the back burner and taking care of business tonight?
Well, I think, Paul Mainieri's been under a lot of criticism this year, and I think it's unfortunate because I don't think it was fair, but that's another story. But what he has done is been able to get these guys believing that they can do it. And after 13-1, you can probably have some doubts about yourself and doubts about the team and doubts about your teammates. He didn't let that happen. He let him take it right back to the field, and they got the job done.
Well, as I said on the radio, he's a Hall of Fame coach. It's his 35th year as a head coach in college baseball. He's been in front of over 2,000 games. I mean, you got to defer to it. Yeah. You like him or not, you got to defer to him. Yeah, he didn't get to where he is. Like any other coach, he's made a decision or two that were bad. But anyway, final score: LSU defeats Florida State on Wednesday night, 7-4. Advanced to play Friday at 2 o'clock in Omaha against Oregon State. All right, I got my story. It goes back to your question about what sport. I'm my senior year of baseball at Southeastern. We got about 3 weeks left in the season, okay? And I'm running foul poles. Of course, you know what those are. I'm a pitcher, and I'm going from the right field pole to the left field pole around the outfield on the warning track. And I'm thinking, it's hot, okay? We got 3 weeks left in the season, so it's late April or early May. And I'm thinking, man, I only got 3 weeks left. What am I running these foul poles for? But I got to do it because the coach used to tell the manager to count. Like if he told me to run 10, if I only ran 8, he would know. So I got to do it right. Well, at Southeastern at the time, is a chain link fence was our outfield fence. You didn't have the wall and the signs that they have now.
Didn't have the stadium.
Well, and if you look through the right field fence, that's where the field house, the athletic building is at Southeastern. A little parking lot, some trees, and the field house. Well, as I'm running, my buddies that are on the golf team, okay, they're over there by the field house, and they are putting their clubs in the back of a van. They're getting ready to go to Fort Walton Beach, Florida for a golf tournament and drink beer and chase women at night, and I'm running these foul poles. So I said to myself, I zigged when I should have zagged somewhere, because look at they're doing that, I'm doing this. Maybe I should have been a golfer, but that truly did happen. So that might go back to my answer. That I guess the question you asked me, I would want to make the winning putt to win the Masters golf tournament. Even though years ago I played a lot of golf, now I'm one of these 2, 3, 4 times a year. I play in the Louisiana State Troopers Association tournament every year, and then maybe 1 or 2 other times a year I'll sneak out with some friends. But so that's when I figured I did something wrong here.
You said something that piqued my interest. I mean, I thought back to when I played center field at Auburn against Florida State. Right field was a big area outside the home run fence area that was set up for gymnastics, and they had a great gymnastics team. And they would practice during the games that we were playing. So you're in center field looking at home plate and kind of wandering off looking at these girls in these tights doing these flips and doing all this stuff on the bars and swinging and all this stuff. I got in a lot of trouble with my coach for not watching home plate enough. Well, I kept looking over there.
You talk about the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I remember batting in the Nord All-American League at Kirsch-Rooney Park. By the way, Kirsch-Rooney Stadium now 60 years old. I saw a thing released by Delgado the other day. I'm one of the lucky guys that played a lot of ball there. But I batted off a guy he's no longer with us, unfortunately, but Big Frank Wills.
Oh, yes,
who
Tulane.
Was a heck of a pitcher at Tulane. He punted at Tulane as well. Many years in the major leagues, was a winning pitcher in the American League Championship Series clinching game for Toronto one year when they won the World Series. Well, Big Frank, as we called him, he wasn't like he was, he just was put together guy. He was throwing 95, 96 miles an hour out at Kirsch-Rooney, and I'm in there batting, okay? And I mean, I didn't see the ball. I heard it. I heard the ump say strike 1, 2, and 3, okay? But I'm telling you, I always told people, I said, if you would have given me a $100 bill, I don't know if I could have bunted the ball. I don't know if I could have bunted it at the time, okay? I mean, tip it. I mean, if you've never seen it,
it's quick, yeah.
I can't describe it to you. You know, some things in life you can't describe. Well, I can't describe standing in the batter's box 60 feet away from a guy throwing a baseball 95 miles an hour. And as we know, many guys go higher than 95. And we got some people in 3 digits in the collegiate level, and you know, Aroldis Chapman throwing 103, 104. I mean, and you played. They had radar guns when you played, but guys that threw hard, I mean,
you just knew it, yeah.
I mean, but I know they had, because all the scouts were up there with the old jugs guns, and they weren't always the most accurate thing in the world. But I'm telling you, I couldn't see the ball.
I was coaching a 17, 18-year-old summer league baseball team that my son was playing on, and I asked Frank, would he come out and throw batting practice one day to him? And he said, why would you want me? I said, because I want those kids to say I batted against a big league pitcher. I said, that was something I always wanted to do. And he said, okay, I'll come out there. And he came out and he wore his Blue Jays uniform. And he came out and threw BP. And I said, man, you don't know what, those kids will talk about that for years, that they batted against a big league pitcher.
But yeah, no longer with us, but I know a lot of the folks in New Orleans know exactly who we're talking about. Big Frank Wills punted for the Tulane football team as well,
yes, he did.
aside from playing for Joe Brockhoff with the baseball team. All right, once again, LSU has won. It's a final score. It's over. Poche, his 39th career win, 12th win of the season. Hess gets the save, and the Tigers advance. And when they line up to play Friday, they'll be one of 4 teams that are remaining, because TCU will play Louisville Thursday night in an elimination game. Winner has to beat Florida twice. LSU's going to have to beat Oregon State twice. Oregon State, Florida, obviously in the catbird seat.
I'm going to tell you one quick story.
Sure.
I batted against a big league pitcher when I was 12 years old. And his name was Bob Feller.
Pretty good one.
And I'll tell you what happened. Bob Feller was traveling around the country for Sylvania TV, Sylvania Television, and he had a big Sylvania jersey on and everything, and he was doing PR work for him. And he was probably 50 years old. I don't know how old he was, but he was up there. And what he did was, he out at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, he had all the kids in the stands come out and go up to bat against him, so they could all bat against Bob Feller. And of course, he just lobbed the ball in there. And would swing and hit the ball, and when you hit the ball, you got out of there and let somebody else bat. And years later, as an adult, I'm interviewing Bob Feller, and we're sitting there together, and really nice man. And I told him, I says, you know, I've gotten a hit off you, Bob. He looked at me and says, you're too young to have gotten a hit off me. I said, no, I got a hit off of you. He said, how did you get a hit off of me? I said, you were traveling around Pennsylvania. I was 12 years old. I got the hit off of him. He laughed about that. He had a good time with that.
That's good stuff right there. Okay, so once again, it is a final. LSU has defeated Florida State. Florida State's eliminated. Tigers live to play some more up in Omaha. We're going to take a break, come back, keep kicking some things around. We got a few Saints items for you right here on Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at pelicansportstv.com. Stay with us.
It's a mailbag.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-471-9811. 800-471-9811.
DLA Painting Incorporated is your company for professional painting, serving the greater Baton Rouge area and South Louisiana for over 20 years. Ready to paint for those recovering from flood, residential repaint, commercial painting, any size job, free estimates. Customer satisfaction is our highest priority. Call 225-505-8785. DLA Painting Incorporated, fully insured. Call Dennis at DLA Painting at 225-505-8785.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Larry Matthews, Tommy Chrysan with you. LSU has beat Florida State 7-4. It's the final. They'll play Friday afternoon against Oregon State. Hey, July 4th's right around the corner. Lots of grilling and parties and family get-togethers and poolside stuff. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood is your place to go to get everything you need for the grill. Go get a grill. They sold a lot of grills right before Father's Day as Father's Day gifts. They've got plenty of grills. They've got all the Chairman's Reserve beef. They've got seafood. They've got the soups. They got the prepared meals, daily lunch specials. They can cater for you. They can cook everything for your party. They can ship it for you. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway, right down the street from Parkview Baptist School and Church. Visit the website, tremontis.com. Phone numbers 225-751-7665. That's 225-751-7665. Mike and the staff do a super job. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Check them out. Larry, we talked a little bit about New Orleans Saints earlier. All the mini camps in the NFL are done. But on the tail end of the mini camp, Saints learned that Teron Armstead, projected starter at left tackle, obviously Drew Brees' blind side, is going to be out for 4 to 6 months. Now some reports that he's done for the year. Some doctors are talking about that torn labrum in the shoulder. He's already had surgery. That's a big blow to this offense, the guy who protects the blind side of Drew Brees.
Well, 6 months would take him out for the year because it's June, it'd be December, and your season's pretty much over. But, yeah, it's a blow. And I tell you what, defensively, you may be missing Nick Fairley with the heart situation. So, I mean, that's a big blow on the offense and the defense. This team is close to being good, but they don't have the depth to really contend, and you can't be losing starters. That's what's going to hurt.
We've got Ian Rappaport commenting on the Saints losing Armstead. I remember a few years back when late in the season against Carolina, they inserted him as a starter. Sean Payton said, this guy's going to be good one day. We got to get him out there. And he did, and that turned out to be the correct forecast and move. But now this injury. Here's Ian Rappaport talking about the injury to Saints left tackle Teron Armstead.
Team is another team, Ian. It loses their left tackle coming into this season.
Yeah, this is a crushing blow for the New Orleans Saints. I'm told that Teron Armstead, their star left tackle, who they locked up to a huge $13 million per year deal a couple years back and has emerged as one of the best young players in the game, he is out 4 to 6 months with a torn labrum that he injured during minicamp practice early in the week, was not there on Thursday, had tests, and it has now been confirmed to me that he has a torn labrum. He is set for surgery on Monday. Going to knock him out for the start of the season for the Saints. There is a possibility, similar to Taylor Decker with the Lions, that he comes back for the second half of the season. But now the fact that the Saints drafted Ryan Ramczyk at number 32 overall looms huge. All of a sudden, they have a potential left tackle replacement for Armstead, who's going to be out for a long time now.
Yeah, especially considering the market for replacements at left tackle. We've already seen the Lions and what they've had to do to try to fill those spots. Ian Rappaport there, our network insider, will.
Larry, if there is a silver lining, it's the fact that we're basically at the end of June, okay? They've got time to come up with plan B, as opposed to if this happens the week of the season opener.
Yeah,
so they've got time, whether that's the draft choice, Ramczyk, step him in there, see if he can do it. You know, as the report said, left tackles aren't just hanging around looking for jobs. You know, that's a prime spot on an NFL roster. So they've got time to try to figure something out. I don't think you move Zach Strief from the right side to the left side. He's on the tail end of his career, not quite as mobile as maybe he once was. He has had knee issues over the years. But the Saints now know they got to work on plan B for the left tackle.
It's the old next man up. And whoever the next man up is, whether it's a trade, whether it's a free agent, whether it's a guy on the staff that they bring up, they got to do something, and they will.
Injuries are part of football. Yeah. Every coach knows that. They hate them, can't stand it. Players, you know, Teron Armstead's probably as disappointed as anyone.
Well, like you say, if it happened the first week of the season, you'd only have a few days to get somebody in there. Now you've got several months, so that's a good sign.
We mentioned he protects the blind side of Drew Brees, the Hall of Fame to be quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, all that good stuff. Recently, they came out with the top 100 players in the NFL. Yeah, you got to do that at this time of the year. There's not a lot to talk about. You've been there on the radio and TV, and I've been there on the radio, TV, and people dig haul butt for vacation in the sportscasting world in June and July. But Drew Brees was ranked 16th. Is the 16th in the league. He's some say on the back end of his career. He's still performing at the Hall of Fame level, and certainly did last year. And the record books, not just for the Saints, but in the NFL, is going to be full of his name whenever he does stop playing, even if he stopped playing today. But we got a little feature on Drew Brees and his ranking in the top 100 at number 16. Quarterback Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is a GOAT. He's, one of the greats.
You're the best ever. Play your game, be great.
How did he do that?
But when Drew Brees gets it going, it is tough to stop.
Just a pinpoint accurate throw by Drew Brees.
Play with guts and nuts. Guts and nuts. And that'll get us the win today, man.
Drew Brees. He's a slick little joker, man. Even when you get to him, he find a way to get up out of it.
He does a great job of placing the ball. He knows he's gonna get hit.
After 2 straight years on the top 100 ranked at 30, Drew Brees moved up 14 spots with the help of one number.
You throw for 5,000 yards again.
5,000 yards. For him to just continue to throw for 5,000 yards. I mean, I think he has 5 seasons. There's been 9, and he has 5 of the 9.
Brees again led the league in passing yards in 2016 for an NFL record 7th time. To go along with his NFL record 471 completions, earning him respect from his peers.
Hey, what you know with the jersey? Touch with jersey? Yes, I'll give it to you.
I mean, I've watched Drew my whole life. An idol to me, somebody that I can watch, can learn a lot from. Drew Brees is the ultimate in command, knows what the defense is doing. And at this moment, he motions out. He realizes what they do. They just bump, so the quarterback guys are showing us zone. And then he's watched film. He knows exactly what's coming. To me, in this position, as a quarterback, you have to have a plan, and Drew Brees always has a plan. I would guarantee and say 75% of him already knew where the ball was going.
Man, what a throw. What a throw that was. There was no way you could get that ball in there.
And that's preparation of time, and that's what Drew Brees is about. And accurate, in between 2 guys, he's one of the best. He's a deadly shooter.
Another outstanding season for Brees left some contemplating who should get the top spot.
Number 1 this year? Jeez.
I'll wait for you, okay?
That's tough.
Better hurry.
It's a toss-up this year.
That's a freaking delay a game.
I'll either pick Tom Brady or Drew Brees.
Yeah, baby! Yes!
All right, Drew Brees. I mean, I don't know what we could say. Excuse me, what we could say about Drew Brees that hadn't been said already, huh, Larry?
He's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it. 5,000 yards a year and everything, and the number of touchdown passes he throws every year. But the main thing that I like about him is that he's a real leader. He charges the team up before the game. He gets them in the huddle. They listen to what he's got to say. And when he gets out there, he commands leadership and respect every time he drops back to throw.
We'll take our final break of the evening, come back, recap a few things for you here on this Wednesday night original airing of Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-718-3516. 800-718-3516.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, HardiePlank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's an honor to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including OptiMap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. We continue with Tigers Roar. Don't forget the big football camp at LSU, Elite Prospects. Mike Scarborough, TigerBait.com will be updating you each day of the camp for the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They got different players, different days, and we appreciate Mike joining us a little bit earlier with a complete football recruiting update. And if you haven't subscribed to TigerBait.com yet, you need to do it. It's good stuff. Not just football, everything, but obviously when there's football news, they've got it. Larry, once again, LSU has eliminated Florida State. Final score 7-4. Tigers win. Jared Poche with the win, his 39th win of his career, the all-time winningest pitcher at LSU. And it's kind of fitting. A kid from Louisiana, Lutcher High School, wanted to be a LSU Tiger, 4 years, came back for the senior year, sets the record. He gets credit for the win against Florida State tonight. Quite the story, Jared Poche, and he will inspire many young children, young boys and girls softball players, boys baseball, in going forward.
Oh, no doubt about it. And it's great to see local people do so well. You know, one thing we didn't mention, we kind of touched on it, was the softball team. Bailey Landry, the all-time hits leader in softball history at LSU, and she was from East Ascension. So it's nice to see the local area high schoolers going to LSU and performing so well.
Yeah, it was really cool. So LSU survives. By the time they play Friday, there'll only be 4 teams remaining in Omaha, and the Tigers will be one of them, along with Oregon State, the Florida Gators. So you got 2 SEC teams, and then the winner of Louisville and TCU, which is a Thursday night game, will have to beat Florida twice. So, hey, here's my thing on that. Yeah, you got to beat Oregon State twice, but you know what? You can't beat them twice Friday. You can only beat them once.
That's right.
So go beat them Friday, and if that gets accomplished, then deal with Saturday. You can't beat them twice Friday, no matter how you slice it.
And they have not lost a game since April, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, really good. So stay tuned with all of that stuff. Hey, if you haven't kept up with us on social media, I'm going to thank you in advance for liking our Facebook page. Facebook page is Pelican Broadcasting. The Twitter account is @Pelican Sports, and of course the YouTube channel. You hear us talk about it a lot. YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You can get this program, Sports Shorts with Ronnie Rance. Other things we do are available at YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting, where you can watch them at your convenience, and many of you do that, and we certainly do appreciate it. Larry Matson, thank you for pinch hitting for Jordy Holtberg tonight on the program. Great to visit with you, and always the stories, the fun, it's good. Guys been doing it a long time now, and always good, and everybody at Pelican certainly appreciates you.
Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it very much, too.
Yeah, so that's all that good stuff. Backing it up a little bit, want to again thank Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com for joining us. A lot of other people busy. Again, summertime, you know, we know the drill there. But football season's not that far away. SEC Media Days, I want to say the week of July 10. So, you know, then all the stuff will start coming in. Teams will report, all that good stuff. Don't forget the high school football guys. They're going to be ready to go near the end of July as well. Larry, once again, thank you.
I'm just glad to be here. You know, I had 2 strokes in May, and I recovered from those. As you can see, I'm okay, and I'm just glad to be back.
On behalf of everybody with the Pelican Broadcasting team, we thank you for watching Tigers Roar. Spread the roar. Talk to you again soon.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with 1 telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order.
I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal and she makes your dreams come true.